Muy bien, vamos a empezar. So let's go ahead, start seated on your alfombra, on your mat, on your rug, on your tapete, on your blanket. Good, and we'll take, let our friends continue to enter here. And buenas tardes. So let's go ahead, cross your ankles for just a moment at your shin bones. And let's see, let's go ahead and take a second to close your eyes, and I want you to visualize where your sitting bones are and where your weight is being held. Often we'll find ourselves, if our hips feel tight, sitting in the back of your sitting bones, your isquiones. So we're going to gently begin loosening the hips by lightly bringing your weight forward in the sits bones. So vamos a mover el peso del cuerpo más adelante en los isquiones. So just take a second to do that, right? So these little rocking movements can help your core begin to wake up, fire up. And again, loosen the hips just a hair. If you need to sit on something higher, like a bench or a stool, obviously you can do that too. So now from here, let's take a little pause. I want you to pull your weight equal and even into your sitting bones. And now lifting your arms, pull your rib cage down and in. Good, so let's go ahead and take a big stretch of the arms. As your arms kind of come up in the shoulder socket, let the front of the ribs pull down. So you just start feeling a little stretch through your armpits, your axilas. Good, you can stretch through all 10 fingers, feeling your chest right around the armpits open un poquito más. Good, so now from here, let's go ahead, pause, just bring your arms down. And with two arms, keeping your elbows soft, let's just draw some circles. Hacemos círculos por los brazos. Good, and again, you're feeling your weight equal and even in your sits bones. Good, and then we're gonna exhale, stretch, take one arm all the way up, and you're gonna fold to the opposite direction. So one arm up, fold the other way, getting a little lateral stretch through the sides. El lado de las costillas. Good, and I'm kind of resting a hand here, either on top of my head, behind my head, so you can feel your chest stays open. Good, let's take this just a time or two more. Excellent. And then from here, let's go ahead, open all the way up, pull your arms in, and then you're going to exhale, twist to one side, let the arms come in, and then exhale, twist the other way. So we'll reach and twist. Bueno, estirando por los brazos y girando por las costillas. Good, 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 good. So let's take that one more time. And from here, let's take a little pause. Bring your fingertips just underneath your shoulders. Feel your chest open. And then let's unfold your two legs for a moment. So now your legs are out, maybe just slightly wider than your hips. So now let's go ahead and exhale. You're going to rotate onto one sitting bone. So you're twisting towards that sitting bone. Getting a little stretch in the hip, waking up the core, twisting in the opposite direction. Good, so you're just letting the hips kind of pike and right back in. Good, let's take that a couple times. Good, just letting the hips loosen, loosen, loosen. If you need assistance, put your hands down underneath your shoulders. All right, so I'm gonna pause to one side and let a knee lift and lower here. Just a few times here, just working, waking up your inner thigh, small to get started. Good. And then from here, we'll take that little rotation, move the other way, and again, let that knee joint come down and up. Just a few times here. Good. So now, let's pause. Bring your two hands to the mat, and then you're gonna pull yourself onto all fours. Good, and then in your all fours position, begin moving the thighs back. Good, and then you can bring your hips just slightly forward. So the thighs are gonna move back. Feel the low back begin to stretch here, and then the hips and thighs Cadera, muslos, adelante. Let's try this a few times. You can begin to add an undulation of your spine as you stretch forward and then reach it back. We'll try that again, stretching, reaching all the way forward, then creating that little undulation as you move back. Let's do that one more time. And then from here, go ahead, exhale, hold the thighs back for just a moment. Big stretch. Good, with your head down, can you lift your arms and sweep the arms back behind you? And then take the arms right back where they were, fingers lightly tapping the floor. So you're just waking up your arms, your shoulders, getting a little blood flow, little circulation here. Head is rested on the floor, arms moving adelante y atrás. Good. All right, so now we're gonna exhale, bring the palms under the shoulders, and let's try taking with one knee bent, opposite arm and leg will lift together. Good. And the abdomen will continue to feel connected. So you feel between the hips, the ribs, the low belly stays nice and firm. Good. If it feels nice to now create extension through the legs as you're reaching out. As the limbs come up from the floor, you can just give that a go. Good. All right. And then from here, go ahead. Let's hold one set of limbs out and let them circle in the hip and shoulder socket. 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And then we'll circle the other way. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, pulling right back in. Limbs extending opposite direction, so opposite side. So we'll take a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1, and then they'll circle the other way. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, bring the limbs back in. Now bring your hands here back behind the head. You'll come up onto 2 knees, and let's hold our head in our hands and play with a few drop backs. So you're letting your thighs lower back towards your heels, your sitting bones. Good. The belly is strong and long. Good. Let's take this 2 more times. Good. Just feeling your whole center activate as you lower. And then let's pause with your arms out. Circle the arms away from the body. And then you'll circle the arms in towards the body. And then you'll let one arm circle in as the other arm circles out. And then we'll just reverse that. Let that come the other way. One arm circling out, other arm circling in. Good, we're ready for the circus, finally. So now from here, go ahead, take the 2 arms back up. Your tailbone drops down. This time, hands move to your low back. And you're gonna squeeze your elbows together. Let your whole abdominal wall stretch. And give this 3 or 4 breaths. Good, and then from here, let's bring your palms together back behind you, and the top of the head is gonna come down, and you're just gonna see, you can maybe float the arms onto the low back, and then let them rise up as it feels safe, as it feels comfortable. Good, and we'll take this again, 1 or 2 more times. Good, and then let's exhale and come right up. So my hand furthest from the computer screen, I'm gonna set onto the floor. I'm gonna pivot out and then stretch and reach all the way over so the fingertips come closer to the floor, top foot anchored and down, and then you're gonna exhale, lift all those limbs. So take this a few rounds, just head and foot are basically lifting and lowering together, almost like you would do in a cat-cow, right? And you're in control of this movement, how big it is, how small it is. Good, so it might feel nice to now hold this limb out for a few breaths. Good, just letting yourself steady in that lift. Good. Maybe take the hand now and the foot, reach them behind you, and then right back out. So let ankle taps, fingertips tap the ankle. We reach away. Let's do this one more time. And then we'll hold and reach the hip all the way back. So allow this area to get a big stretch. Good. Exhale, release those limbs. Push yourself so you're back on two knees. And then we're going to go the opposite side. So now I'm facing the other way. Take a moment to cat-cow here, allowing your back to release fully, totally, completely. 100%, relajando la columna, la espalda, toda la espalda, Margarita. Y desde aquí, una bromita para ti. All right, so now turn your back toes out, and then you're gonna bring yourself all the way up. Let that fingertips float down. Exhale, rising up. Good. So let this be a big stretch between the hips and the ribs as you lift and as you lower. Feeling the glute, the inner thigh, really connected to that active lift. Good. Let's do this one more time here. I gotta say, I could be here all day long. Todo el día aquí en esta posición. Good. So now from here, lifting up, hold this little lift. You can take it a bit higher. And then you're gonna tap hand and ankle. They can reach together back behind you. Again, letting the movement feel like floating. So no agenda. Imagine you're moving, in seawater, el agua del mar. Good, and then let's let this be a big stretch all the way back behind you here. Letting your hip, your abdomen, chest, shoulder, all release. Let's exhale. Bring that down. Let your forearms now come to the floor. And everybody, como un perrito, like a little dog, just wag your tail side to side. Like a, I don't even know how else to describe this. And then let's go ahead and let that be a circle. So you're gonna lead with the tailbone. Let your tailbone circle all the way around, and then take it in the other direction. Good, so you're letting your head relax. You can shake your head no, nod a yes. Good. So now once you feel like the hips again have gotten a little bit loosey, you can lift. I'm lifting my left, and you can let it circle all the way around in the hip socket. You could even draw your name here with your bent knee, or you could draw the name of your favorite superhero. I don't have a favorite superhero. Your favorite author. Just move the leg all the way around. Good. And then we're going to try that on the other side. So the right leg lifting up. You can begin with some circles. Circulando all the way. Circling. Otra dirección. It's being complete in your exploration of your hip. How does it work? How does it feel? What feels good? Excellent, excellent. And then from here, you'll exhale. Let that come down and let the hips move back. You're gonna undulate through your back and come up. So now my left foot, I'm gonna step it forward. And then a few times, just let my hips move forward and then back. The kneecap should come right over the ankle every time you move down, right? And you should feel this hamstring right here is controlling the stretch of the opposite hip. So just think about those things as you move. Good. And then we're gonna pause with a vertical shin here. Take your opposite arm, stretch, reach up. Good. You can let that arm float back behind you a little bit, waking up your shoulder. Good, and then let's exhale. Elbow moves towards your knee. And you can tap your fingers into your chin and think a few deep thoughts like a good philosopher here. All right. So now let's go ahead. Exhale, pushing through that foot. If you need more blanket, always give yourself as much prop as you need to make sure this feels safe and comfortable to your joints. And then I'm gonna come float over this leg, let my head do the stretching of my back. And focusing on feeling balanced through my sitting bones. And then let's exhale, bring ourselves up. This leg, let it come across your midline. And then you're gonna come stretch over it, letting your hands come a little bit closer to the floor. Good. So this should now feel with the legs stretched across you like you're getting some work into your IT band. You can walk your hands as much as you would like to over to the side, only as much as that feels comfortable. But I know Margarita, Nikin, this might be a thing you like. Una cosa que te guste. So now from here, bring this knee joint down to the mat and you can stretch your hips, right? So this might feel good to you. You might want to prop yourself with a little bit more blanket. Good. You can press the top of your back foot into the floor. You may not want to do this pose. This might be a good sit it out, get a little water. Lo que tú quieras. Good. You can check in with your weight here by shifting side to side. And just notice as you shift your weight away from your bent leg, the stretch deepens. Good. So now let's go ahead, take a little pause. You'll exhale, curl your back toes under, reach your hips back once again. And from here, you're gonna set that leg back. I'm gonna come on to the opposite side. So now I've just changed direction. And I'm gonna let my opposite leg, this being my right leg, move forward now. And I'm gonna let this hamstring now control my stretch. El movimiento adelante y atrás, right? So each little bend helps you fire the hamstring, lets this psoas get a stretch. The movement itself should help you find a little more balance. I'm gonna take this top arm up with me just a few times. Good. And now let's pause. Una pausa abajo. You're gonna pause down here, let that weight of your head rest in the hand. Good. And then let's exhale. Bring the hands down. Stretch your hips back. And something I do sometimes in this pose is almost like a cat-cow over my extended legs. So I round my back as much as I want to, and I'll feel a little stretch in between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, lengthen my back out, and you'll feel your hamstring and your whole spine getting un estiramiento, a little bit of a stretch. Good, so let's take that one more time. And then holding a long spine here, you can now walk this leg slightly across the midline of the body. Take your fingertips to the opposite side of the leg. Some deep sensation here across in your IT band. Whew. Burning. If it's not burning, see me after class. Vamos a hablar. Good. And you can now walk your hands a little bit further over and across. So this is doing some very real stretching to my hips. Reaching my rib cage, opposite ribs towards the thigh. Nagin, do you dig this? Yeah, I thought it feels like a Nagin thing. All right, so now from here, let your knee joint come down towards the floor. So you fold it over into a pigeon pose. If this pigeon is just too tight and not for you, don't worry about straightening your back knee. You can allow that to relax. Or if it feels okay, keep that knee nice and long. And again, just rock with your weight. Rock your weight. Moviendo el peso del cuerpo por la cadera. So you're moving the weight of your body through your hips. And in that little act, you'll feel as you move your weight away from the bent leg. This hip stretch deepens. Sometimes rocking the body helps you relax. Very nice. Good. So now let's try this. You're going to exhale, and I'm going to pull my back leg to my front leg. Then we're going to open towards el centro. So now I'm opening my legs all the way. Margarita, you inspired me with, let's just stretch our hips like crazy. Is everybody okay with this? Are we good? All right, so now take your arms all the way up, and we're gonna exhale. And I just want you to pretend like you were at a rock concert in the 1990s, and you're just gonna sway from side to side to Pearl Jam at South Park Meadows or something. Good. And again, you can let an elbow start to move down. So just make your descent into the pose a little more gradual, right? You don't have to be anywhere. Just let yourself get deeper into that stretch. If this is uncomfortable on your hips and sitting here feels like you're gonna tear in your groin, tear in the inner thigh muscles, soften the knees enough that you feel safe, right? That's sort of paramount. In any amount that you need to let your knees come up is fine. The hamstrings will stretch when and as they're ready. This feels so good. I just want to keep doing it. So let's pause here for a moment, and you can take that top arm and just, write a secret message with it as well. Good. See about reaching your head and your fingertips all the way away from each other, and you'll feel stretch in your trapezius. You can even use your top fingertips here. Let that area stretch more deeply. Good. Now I'm going to come take that stretch to this side. And again, fingertips are going to reach away from my head so that these muscles, sternocleidomastoid, all of that gets a gravity, gives it a little special attention. Okay, let's exhale, sweep the arms and bring them all the way up. Now the fingertips can move. I want you to try this. Bring your fingertips in front of your hips, in front of the pelvis, and then just actively kind of move the thighs a little bit back in the hip socket. Good. So you're just creating a little rocking action there. Hold the thighs moving back as best you can. And then let's take a twist towards one leg. Good. And then we're going to take another twist towards the opposite leg. Very nice. And from here, we're going to close once again. So bring your feet together and take your arms out. So my feet are now at the short edge of the mat. This is el lado izquierdo, my left side of the body. Good. So now I'm going to inhale, sit all the way up till I feel the scapula moving in. And then I'm going to exhale and round down, let my fingertips come together into like a little boat pose. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, rounding down. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, shoulder blades on the back. Exhale, rounding down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and exhale, coming down. This time, bring your knees just up to your hands, letting the thighs lightly tap. So this might feel better to do one leg. It might feel better to do no legs, right? So just make this work for you here for just a moment. Good. And then you're going to exhale, extend your two legs out. And then we're going to kind of do the breaststroke over your thighs, right? So when I say that, I mean, imagine you're swimming. Imagine your lungs are staying lifted. Good. Arms sweeping in the shoulder sockets. Thighs feel anchored. Belly is supporting your lumbar. Let's do this one more time. Good. Now exhale. You're going to stretch and reach opposite arm to the outside of one foot. So they don't have to touch. You just need to move towards one another. Really wringing out your ribs side to side. Just thinking all of this movement well, and puts a little bit of healthy pressure on your organs, right? So every time we twist, you kind of wring out the organs of the uh, thoracic abdominal cavity, right? So the twist is good. That's all I want to say. So let's take a moment, bend your two knees, take your hands here back behind the thighs. I'm going to walk myself to the edge of my cushy part of my blanket, and then I'm going to rock back. And again, rocking your back can be really, really therapeutic. The things that will help is hold your belly stable so that when the columna, when the vertebra move down to the floor, they're supported. Good, so let's make a little pact to stop here on the way on top, leaving your feet lifted. Try reaching an arm up. Try reaching the other arm up. Try reaching a leg up. Good, you can bend the knee. Try reaching the other leg up. So just alternating here, you'll feel some work in the quadricep. Feel a little stretch in the hamstring from the core. Good, let's take that just a couple more times. Good. And then let's exhale. Hold your hands to your shins and slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Take your arms up and you can bring your palms together. With your arms, draw a few circles. So they're connected, they're moving as one thing. Feel the muscles in your chest engage just as you do this. Good, and then you can draw some figure eights with your arms here. Letting the palms press into one another. Good, and you can reverse the direction of those figure eights, letting all those muscles build new ways of moving. Good, let's go ahead, open your arms now into a cactus shape, and then with your legs glued all the way together, just move them as they're one thing, right? So let this really almost massage your low back. And once again, the movement is kind of giving a little massage to the organic body. Good. So now let the knees come down towards one elbow. This should feel like a big, deep stretch in your lumbar. And then you're going to take the knees in the opposite direction. Let your head move opposite to your knees. So the idea is we'll keep our shoulder blades anchored. And then you'll let your kneecaps stay together as best you can. The knees come as low as they want to. Good, so now let's bring hands back behind the head for a moment. Elbows can move out and in, out and in. Good, and we'll feel the elbows move in and then exhale, lift your two legs. Let's take this scoop a few times. You'll inhale, this is your chest opening. Hips totally relaxed, and then you'll exhale, reach them out. Here we go, we'll come down, and then you'll exhale, reach out. Let's come down one more time. Exhale, reaching out, holding the legs out if you want, or bringing them back in if that feels better to you. Lie nice and low, right alongside your thighs. Circle the arms. Now circle in the other way. Now again, nice and low, bring the arms out to the side, palms are facing up. You'll circle, 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 and then circle the other way. Good, now if you like arms alongside the ears, they can circle. Oh, you'll feel this. This is deep, deep work. Gentle but vigorous. Palms together, feet to the floor. Exhale, pull your hip bones up. Press the feet down. And exhale, allow the hips to rise up. Good. Arms, I'm keeping my palms making contact as I'm getting a good stretch through my shoulders this way. Good. Let's do this one more time. All right, and then once again with your hips lifted, now circle the arms down low to your sides. We'll circle in the opposite direction. Good, reach the arms out into a T shape. Feel a lot of energy through the biceps, across your chest. por el pecho, and then circulamos otra dirección. Good, and then your arms alongside the ears in a nice little Y shape. Once again, you'll circle 3 and 2 and 1. Now circle the other way, 3 and 2 and 1. Exhale, allow the arms to float to your sides. And then I want you to try extending your arms and your 2 shin bones out. So you're just waking up the belly here. Shin bones, and then the toes tap right underneath. So now you could even create a little more extension through the arms. Good. And I really want you to feel just front of the ribs knits in as the limbs extend. 2. And let's hold here. And now can you open your arms and legs? Just let them float out to the side, right back to the center. Out, out, out. In, in. Afuera, afuera, afuera. Adentro, adentro, adentro. Last time, hold. Bring the soles of the feet together. Feet to the mat. Arms down low. Shoulder blades in. Exhale, lift your pelvis. Okay, so this is a little bit of a different back bend. You can practice lifting your heels a few times in this back bend. Good. And then you can practice lifting the balls of the feet too. So you've moved into a little external rotation. Tucking the shoulder blades onto the back. You can get deeper here. Maybe even bring your palms underneath your shoulders. Good. And once again, if it feels nice, play with the weight in your feet. Maybe one heel up, opposite heel, maintaining that external rotation. Good. Good. So now you can make this back bend. Well, let's shift it up. So you'll release the arms, lower the pelvis. Take your kneecaps, let them face in. And then we'll exhale, bring your arms back down to your side. So this is just a little bit more parallel. Good, and if it feels nice, you can lift a foot, extend the leg. Good, the same thing, this leg can circle just a few times. So you're working on stability through the hips, the glutes, the abdomen, and then freedom through the hip joint. Good. Exhale, releasing the leg, pushing through the feet, opposite leg lifts, steady here, steady through the glute, steady through the belly, and then circle, circle, circle. And circle, circle, circles the other way. Excellent. Let those feet come in and down, push and lift your hips. Now walk your hands and ankles a little closer together for Chatuspadasana. So you can let the pelvis come all the way down to the floor. And then, si quieres, if you want to, push the feet, empujamos por los pies. And you're gonna, the act of pushing the pelvis up creates this deep, deep arch in the back. So feel the act of the pelvis, right? The lifting of the pelvis is what creates that shape. And then you're gonna take your chest, it's gonna move closer towards your chin, but you're gonna lengthen your neck and move your chin away from your chest. Good, so you can stay there for a breath or two more, or if it's time for you to play with your favorite and mine, Urdhva Dhanurasana, that's the full wheel pose. Everybody continue to warm up your arms and wrists before we go there. So you can make little fists and roll your wrists kind of back towards your torso here and feel the biceps getting a little fueguito, a little fire. Good, and a little stretch there through the forearms. So everybody who spent too much time in front of the computer typing their hearts out, this is good. Good, and from here you're gonna now take your forearms over your chest, bring your hands right around your shoulders, and you're gonna push in through your hands, push in through the feet, allow the pelvis to rise up, come onto the top of your head. If this is all making sense for you, you can rest here. This is a great back bend. Sometimes I think we think of this as a transition, but oh, I'm loving it. And then when you feel ready, then extend the arms. if you want, right? Or go back to any other version of this back bend. Look at those hips and pelvises all the way up. A few breaths. So even in a hard pose like that, if you ask nicely, there's pleasure. And if you're patient with where your body is, it really doesn't matter if the full expression happens today. It's nice to try. So I'm going to take my left arm, hook it behind my right, and then just let that arm stretch towards the computer. Once again, you can kind of wring out the wrists by continuing to put that nice movement in the fingers. Let's try that the other way. Oh, I'm hooked to the arm. I'm just getting a stretch across my back. You all, I'm looking at the computer screen and my body looks really creepy like this. Can anybody see? It's like I don't have a neck. Whoa. Special effects via Zoom. All right, so now bring your hands back behind your thighs. We're gonna do a little bit more rocking. Good, and this rocking is gonna take us into a little bit of another inversion, the halasana. So you can press your hands into the thighs as you lower and stretch your legs over your face and then kind of tip back up. So this can be a gentle thing. Good, and again, find the amount of range of motion that makes sense for you. From here, you can pause and let the toes just come a little lightly towards the floor. Good, so now you're in a plow pose or a control balance pose. You could see about lifting one leg here. Any amount that makes sense to you. You want to try not to look from side to side, especially as that leg comes up. And I wouldn't even think about lifting a leg until I found my weight just really anchored on my shoulders, right? So this shouldn't feel like your neck is straining. Should feel a little bit of weight on your head. And then the vast majority of the body weight is over the shoulders. Encima de los hombros. Good. All right, so now let's exhale, release, let the thighs slowly, slowly come down. And just this little act here is allowing the hamstrings to get a deep stretch. We don't ever want to leave. Can stay here for, 5 or 10 more minutes, huh? Just right here. JK. Here, so now we're gonna work on a shoulder stand inversion. So I think when you lift into any kind of shoulder stand, you wanna make sure you use the weight of your core to lift. So you might wanna watch this and then try. So I'm gonna push my hands down and then use my abdominal wall to lift my knees back over me. So then once I feel stable, I'll put hands here on my hips. And from there, once I feel stable, I'll let my knee joints, I'm gonna extend through the knees. And then after I've been here for a bit and it's feeling like the right thing to do, I can take my legs there over my hips and feel full extension. You wanna feel some work in your glutes to help you hold those big thigh bones up. You can do that by pulling the tailbone closer to your heels. And then exhale. Just allow that to release slowly, gently, gently, gently. And then you'll exhale. Take that all the way. So now feet back down to the floor. So now push your feet in. And we're gonna push our elbows in. And you're gonna let the top of your head now come and rest. So this is a fantastic stretch for the front of your throat. They call it nature's facelift, whatever that means. I think you're quite literally lifting your face. And you can pull your bottom lip over your top lip, and that will deepen the stretch through your latissimus, the muscle here in the front of the throat. So estiramos. Take a few big breaths with your bottom lip over your top lip and take yourself very seriously while you do it, okay? So I just found after being here for a little bit, I could really push my elbows in and just get a deeper back bend. So Margarita, ojalá estás disfrutando este. All right, so now you'll exhale, let that come down. Take your chin over one shoulder, over the opposite shoulder, and stretch the sides of the neck. And then we're gonna rock back up into a seated position. I'm gonna bring myself back over my blanket here. So now, back in all fours, go ahead, bring your elbows, your forearms here to the mat for a moment. And exhale, allow the tailbone to rise up fully, completely. So you're giving the weight of your body here. Glutes and hamstrings are doing some work, and you're warming up your shoulders, right? So again, without any agenda, just putting a little energy on my shoulders. You can let your neck stretch side to side. And exhale, allow that to release. Let's do that one more time. Good. And then feel everybody for just a moment. You can bend the knees and let the tailbone rise all the way up. So everybody bend the knees as much as you want, as much as you need, and let the tailbone rise up. And then you can let one leg and a stretch reach up towards the sky and then right back down. Good. That feels nice. Release the leg, let the opposite leg stretch up towards the sky. You're really going to try to take the heel of your leg and imprint it on the ceiling. And just that act of trying to take my heel to the ceiling really gets some fueguito, a little fire in the gluteals, right? Okay, exhale, release. Let all of that come down. And now take a second here, resting your arms. And you can rock your weight a little bit on the top of your head if this feels safe. Now, if being upside down for you in this way isn't the best idea, you could still come up and push a little bit of weight into your hands like so you can have that same sensation. But again, just rock and you'll start to feel where you want the weight to sit in your head. And you'll notice the middle of the head, top of the head is usually where this feels good. Your neck can lengthen. Good, so let's roll all the weight off and come down for a moment in a little child's pose. Your hands can move onto your back. You can again, like roll the cheek down, try resting your opposite cheek there on the floor. Good. And then we're gonna exhale, bring your forearms onto the mat in front of you and then clasp your hands together. So once again, you're gonna try that lift of the pelvis up while you push the forearms down while your chest opens. Then we're gonna exhale and release. Let's try that again. The heels taking some weight back here. You can get a stretch through your Achilles, through your calves. Good. Okay, so now if you are a person who headstands and you know you want to do that, we can try this together. So the top of your head goes down, the pelvis goes up. This is the only thing that changes. So everyone can just practice putting your head down, and then if it feels safe, lifting knees. And if it feels okay to lift the knees, then walk your feet in just a little, and then practice taking one foot from the floor and then the other. And then if that's all feeling really stable, then go ahead and lightly bring your thighs up, 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 up. As the thighs travel up, take your tailbone a little closer to the heels. You can even bend your knees here, and that will help you feel your glutes. It will help you stretch your hips. And then once again, we can slowly, slowly, slowly lower the legs, lower the feet, lower the knees, and come out of that. Enough, right? So let's come and take a forward bend, take opposite hand and elbow, and stretch, stretch, stretch. I'm a firm believer in not kicking your legs up over your head to try to achieve inverted poses because it's just really, really unsafe. So here I'm gonna turn this computer up a little bit like this. And now, why don't we work on a few little standing poses? And before you know it, it'll be 6:30, time for dinner, or for Cora, it'll be what, 4:30? All right, so now bring your feet all the way in, 5:30, it'll be 5:30. I can do math. I've been standing on my head, I can do math. I put all my brain cells there, very active. So everybody try this for just a moment. Rock your weight forward and back in the feet. Good, good, good. Good, now hold your feet here steady for a second. Roll your thumbs in and out. So this is work at the head of your shoulder. Good, so now I'm gonna start by lifting my left, I'm gonna start by lifting my right leg. Why don't you start lifting your left leg? So I want you to hold the palms out. And then when your left toes, tap out and in, out and in, out and in, and in, out and in. Now hold the toes out. Now lift a heel. Good, so that heel is just gonna come up. Gonna feel it right there. Good, now put your hands on the hips for a moment. Tap the shin bone, set the foot down. Tap the shin, set it down. Tap, set, tap. Good, now see if you can hold that foot there at your shin. Return to the external rotation of the arms. Bring your palms together. Pushing your hands, pushing your feet. Un ratito, baby. Un ratito, estamos todavía haciendo yoga. Oh, sad. All right, let's exhale, bring that down. Okay, so now we're gonna try same little pathway here. The opposite toes, this is now my left, probably your right. Just working this internal, external rotation of the hip. Good, so then holding that weight out, lift the heel for just a moment, set it back down. Notice that heel is right next to the opposite heel. Try to keep your movement really small, right underneath you, right? Tan poquitito. Good, so now hold that foot and you're gonna take it to the shin and we're just gonna go down and up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hopefully in that time you really started to feel this glute fire for you. Palms together. Again, tailbone reaches down towards the heel. Abdomen is bracing the center of the body. Good. Let's exhale, release, and bring it down. So now this time, bring your arms up for a second. Turn this right foot out. And then I want you to see about tapping a little bit closer to the knee. So you're just seeing what happens here. Not thinking about your hand, but just kind of waking up your hip, letting it move a little closer to the opposite side. There we go. Good. And then let's see about placing the foot there on your thigh. Good. Bringing your palms all the way together. Big deep breath. Maybe reaching the arms all the way out. 5 breaths here. Whoa. Good. Exhale the arms, release. That leg comes down. Sweep it all around. Little therapeutic wiggle. Good. And then we're going to turn that leg out. Good. On the opposite side, step it out just a hair. See about foot moving closer to the muslo, moving closer to your thigh. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, those bones can connect, bones of the feet. And really think about that, right? You're trying to bring the bones closer together. Doing that by activating those tissues, the muscles. Good. And exhale. The arms can stretch up. They can go wide. Good. The arms can float down. The leg can float down. Good. So now we're going to step right leg, left leg wider. Un poco más ancho por las piernas. And then from here, brazos arriba, adelante. You can do a little wringing out of the shoulder joints. Good. So now once again, I'm going to turn my left toes out and begin this journey, reaching towards my leg. And then right back up. Good. So just not having to be anywhere just yet. Good. And then let's see. What happens if you take this hand to the inner thigh? You can kind of brace yourself. Slowly lower down. Good. Top arm can come onto your back. Take your chin down. Take the chin up. Try that a few times. Good. Stretching, reaching that arm up once again. This time we'll exhale and bring ourselves all the way up into standing. Change the direction. Shift the position of your feet so now the opposite toes are turned out. And once again, you're going to stretch, reach over this leg and right back up. And we'll stretch, reach over this leg, right back up. You can create a little energetic opposition through your arms. One arm reaches back, opposite arm over the ear. And that kind of helps you use the muscles to support your torso a little better. Muy bien, bajamos aquí. La mano en el muslo interno. And you'll exhale and come down. Ooh, feel a nice stretch through your espaldita. Chin down, chin up. Big stretch. Good. And from here, that top arm rises up. Good. And now this time, let the arms start to sweep towards the floor. And you're going to turn all the toes in. And we'll come forward into a little Padottanasana. In this pose, you can let your chin move up and your chin move down, kind of tuck it in. It might also feel nice to walk your fingertips to the back of your mat. Once again, creating a little bit more release for your neck. You can also then bring your hands under your head and round that up. So you're holding the weight of your head a little in your hand. Good, and then let's exhale. Weight can move a little in the hands. Bend the knees, right and left. Good, and then from here, we're gonna slide. I'm gonna take, this is my right leg, to my left and lower. Good. And then from here, I'm gonna take my hands to the ankles and slowly just begin to slide myself down. Good, coming down to the floor, opening my chest, putting a little rock. Good. So if there's any final additional movements you want to make that you haven't touched on yet, take a moment to do that. Good, hips can go side to side. You can cross opposite ankle to thigh, rock the hips. My hips love this. Good, and then from here, let's go ahead and allow our limbs to just rest on the mat for a moment. I want us to practice feeling ourselves breathe. You can start with your hands on your belly. You can move your breaths in and out of your nose. And you can focus on elongating your exhales. Now you can bring your fingertips in between your ribs and your navel and just feel your breath move fully into that space. You can open the arms out and just feel another few full deep breaths for you. Let's take a big stretch. Let the arms move overhead. And then let's bring your palms all the way together and draw the knees over your chest and stretching your hips. A final little rock of your back. You can let your arm closest to the computer rolls or stretches up and you'll roll over it. Push with the opposite hand. Bring ourselves into seated position. And here we are, las palmas juntas. Amigos, amigas, todo el mundo, tu práctica es un regalo. Muchas gracias. Disfruta. Namaste, y'all.
Thanks, Elizabeth.